Okay, so we have a nice little break here before we cruise into the final semester books from the MBA program. This one is A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again by David Foster Wallace. I read it in 2013 and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I wrote this about it shortly after I finished. Oh, some of the essays are so bland and tough and academic and scared me out of my wits to continue. But when he started focusing his cynical, wry microscope on more palatable topics, I was sold. Wallace was able to write the details and desires of so many who are unable to identify their fleeting ideas in complete sentences, let alone the dictionary necessitative prose he creates. When he is passionate about a topic, his research, information, and recall is unparalleled. His journalistic awareness and personal idiosyncrasies make his writing a unique experience. I read him like Sedaris or Klosterman. However, Wallace's vocabulary is legion, and its usage at times put his writing over my head. The book is enjoyable, especially if you have a particular interest in the topics of his essays. I don't think you can call it a spoiler when the book is a collection of them, so I'll make a list here. The essays are Wallace's personal history with tennis, on writing and media and smarty smarts, state fairs in the Midwest, Illinois specifically, philosophy and the writer, David Lynch and Lost Highway, the logistics of professional tennis, and a luxury cruise. As I'm reading through those, they sound like Jeopardy topics going across the top. Those are the essays that are in this book, and they are fantastic. I forgot that some of these were in here, but specifically, reading Wallace is so informative and so interesting and so creative. It is really fantastic. I remember, he does 2 on tennis here, so he is very focused on tennis, and I remember learning things about different levels of tennis from these essays that I still carry with me today. State fairs in the Midwest is an amazing topic, especially if you're from Minnesota. But talking about Illinois is a separate thing, but the Minnesota State Fair is a gem. And then also talking about Dave Lynch and Lost Highway, these are things we can talk about forever. All of those things and all of that list, the one that I think is most famous from this book is the essay about the luxury cruise. When I talk about his level of detail and research, information, recall being unparalleled, his take on a luxury cruise, which seems completely out of place, he admits this in the essay, is so wonderful and is such a great experiential essay that I think it's fantastic for anyone to take in. So the nice thing is it's a collection of essays, so you could pick and choose based on, the list as is listed right here in this review, or you could go through the whole thing, which I did, and I was blown away. David Foster Wallace is no longer with us. This is the only book of his that I've read. I know Infinite Jest is an opus, it's an epic, it's one that everyone talks about. At some point, maybe I will get to it, but I am intimidated by him. I am intimidated by his writing. And I think when you listen to the way that I wrote that review, I think I was conformed into using some colorful language, colorful and big language to describe what he was doing, because he is so inspiring and intimidating in what he does. I will also recommend the movie The End of the Tour with Jason Segel, talking about, it's a biopic about David Foster Wallace, and is towards, from what I understand, close to the end of his life, after he gets done doing a book tour, and shows what his life was like in Illinois and what living with all of this massive intelligence and talent was like for him. It's a fantastic movie. It's one that I think probably fell off a lot of people's radars, but I would definitely recommend seeing that if you want to learn about David Foster Wallace. And if you are just interested in some of that really creative stuff, I've talked about Sedaris books here, I've talked about Klosterman. I love these style of books. And David Foster Wallace, his entries into them in this sort of journalistic essaying is fantastic. So I would definitely recommend this one. Again, it's A Supposedly Fun Thing I'll Never Do Again by David Foster Wallace. I give it 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Till next.